CEO of Midwood Development, and on behalf of our Midwood team, Jeff DeBoard is here, Mark Rollins, Shawmut and Gensler. We welcome you here as our guests to celebrate the groundbreaking of our first Boston project, the revival of two historic buildings, the Ben Franklin and the Transcript building, which is one of the last remaining buildings on Newspaper Row. Our company is actively developing over 1.5 million square feet of mixed-use space in places like New York, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and now Boston. Over the past 10 years, we've purchased 7 properties within a 2-block radius of this site, demonstrating our commitment to downtown Boston. My family has long been affiliated with Boston, and we are thrilled to be part of this dynamic, innovative city. I would like to recognize some of the elected officials here. Mayor Walsh, thank you very much for attending. And there are many people from his staff who are here as well. We are standing today at the intersection of culture, commerce, capital, and history. The birthplace of Ben Franklin was originally at this site. His home was destroyed by the fire of 1811, making room for the building we are in today. You will note on the facade of the building there is a bust of Franklin, which was erected when the building was built, commemorating his birth. Ben Franklin was a diplomat, inventor, printer, scientist, and civic activist. He attended the Boston Latin School. Unlike many of the founding fathers, Franklin belonged to the leather apron class. He remained ever proud of his trade and specified that his gravestone be engraved, Ben Franklin, Printer. In his will in 1789, he stipulated a gift of £1,000 to the inhabitants of the town of Boston, and today the Franklin Institute of Technology owes its existence to his vision and wisdom. As a printer, Franklin was the first person in America to manufacture type. He created a sans serif font known as Franklin Gothic, named after him in 1902, and it is used in newspaper headlines, creating the link historically and physically between these two remarkable buildings. The Transcript building was home to the Boston Globe, the Boston Journal, the Boston Post, and the Associated Press, and the Boston Evening Transcript, as part of a number of nearby buildings known as Newspaper Row. The Transcript started in July 1830. By 1873, it was the largest circulating daily in New England and hailed as having for years sustained the reputation of being the favorite afternoon paper of cultivated Boston. It was the first major daily to hire a female editor, and publication stopped in 1941 after 111 years. I wonder what they would think today of the newspaper business. The Transcript building was designed by one of Boston's most noted 19th century architects, Gridley J. Fox Bryant, who also designed Old City Hall on School Street. I would like to now welcome our dynamic Mayor of Boston, Mayor Walsh.
Thank you very much, John, and thank you everyone at Millwood and Shawmut as well. You know, when I was driving up, I was reading the notes about the building, and this is exciting. And I know it's exciting for all of us here, and for construction companies like Shaman, it's exciting. Because this is more than a construction project. This is about history. And when you think of the history, I'm not going to comment on what the press would think about back then to today, because I'll get in trouble, and I have an election in 2 weeks, so I'm going to leave that one alone for now. But it is exciting to understand that in our city we still have so much history that's in our streets and in the walls of our streets. I want to thank Midwood as well for investing in Downtown Crossing and the parcels there, and this is the first project that you're launching, so I look forward to the other projects we're moving forward on. Downtown Crossing is an exciting part of the city. You know, Washington and Milk Street, a lot happened here. This is a rich history, and when I was running for mayor 4 years ago, I was asked a question of what I thought the next growth zone in the city of Boston was, and I said Downtown Crossing, because when I was a kid, we'd come down here, my mother, we'd come to Jordan Marsh, we'd go to Filene's, and we'd go to different stores, and we'd go to St. Anthony's Shrine, and it would seem to be bustling with people back in the 70s and 80s, and then for a while the people went away, and it lost a little bit. And today it's incredible with the growth and development in this area. We have global retailers in our city, Primark, which was based out of Ireland, and they came to the city, and now they have 2 locations in Massachusetts, and they're all over the world. We have residences like Millennium Towers and so many other residences. This was never an area of really, there was people living down here, but not to the magnitude of today. It's turning into a community. Grocery stores, something that never happened. Roach Brothers is down the street, and there's so many other retailers and businesses that are opening all the time. Yesterday I went for a walk down, we went for lunch, and went for a walk down Washington Street. It was great to see all the people out there and all the different types of shops and the different ethnic restaurants as well in the community, to see it really resembling our city. So it's exciting to see that. And it's great to see the transformation continue in this part of the city. We're seeing Downtown Crossing return to its legacy as a shopping hub for Boston. And back in the day it was a shopping hub. Before we had shopping centers, it was downtown. And we're starting to see that here now. But it's also important for us that we preserve the historic character of some of our buildings in our city and some of the history of our city, especially in downtown Boston. I want to thank Midwood for restoring these iconic buildings, and they're helping preserve history for years to come. There's a ton of history on every corner that we're standing on today, when you think about that. You know, John mentioned home to the Newspaper Row and the Ben Franklin birthplace, and then talked about Ben Franklin Institute, which is a really important aspect and part of our city, which helps employ young people, particularly to get into the trades, and it's a great resource in our city. And Ben Franklin had the vision that is still carrying on today. Across the street is the Old South Meeting Church. The Boston Massacre took place just steps away from here. We have the Freedom Trail, obviously, that runs past here, that draws millions of tourists from all over the world and talking about you know, what's happened in our city. You know, not too far from here is John Hancock and Paul Revere's grave. Paul Revere lived not too far from this building. So you think about, I mean, I think sometimes we take for granted as Bostonians that, you know, the beginning of America happens in a lot of ways on the corner of Milk and Washington and other places. You know, we don't always think that way, but it's true. You know, so we're excited to see that this is getting, this space is getting activated again. And again, I want to thank Midwood for their great work here in our city, and I want to thank all of the people here that helped put this together. I know that City Council Flaherty was trying to make up I'm not sure, I know he was in a meeting. He shot me a text on the way over in City Council in East Wasabi, George, but they also understand the importance. And I want to thank, we have staff here from the Boston Planning and Development Agency. I want to thank you, Teresa's here. I want to thank you, Teresa, for being here. I want to thank the building trade workers. I saw inside my former brothers and sisters from Labor Local 223 who are here, and the tradesmen and women that are going to work on this project. I want to thank you for that as well. And just thank all of you for coming today. Today is not just a groundbreaking of a building. Today is a preservation of an important piece of our history. So thank you again, John, for all your support, and thank you all for being here.
would like to welcome Pam Messinger from the downtown bid.
Good morning. First, I want to preface my remarks by saying that I wrote these this morning before I listened to the mayor speak, but it's going to sound like I plagiarized everything in my seat because he's stolen half of my stuff. Anyway, but that just shows about the significance of where we are. I'm here representing the Downtown Boston Business Improvement District today. I'm a board member of that organization, and I'm appearing on their behalf at something that's happening quite frequently in our neighborhood now, and that's a celebration of investment in downtown. The bid has invested millions of dollars in the public spaces in this neighborhood in our 6 years of existence, and private industry has followed, and it is working. We have been spending our money on making this a cleaner, safer, and more welcoming neighborhood, and we can see transformation on every corner. More and more people are living here, working here, visiting our city, and visiting this neighborhood, and the private investment is evident everywhere we look. Downtown is really the intersection of old and new Boston. We are so fortunate to have it all right here. We have 18th century monuments to the founding of our country across the street from glittering office towers. Our neighborhood is a walkable museum of American history. And we are grateful to Midwood for their investment in this neighborhood and in this district. Their restoration of these buildings will highlight the original craftsmanship here, celebrate the history that was made here, celebrate Newspaper Row, something that a lot of people aren't aware of and will become more aware of because of your investment here. And we're very happy that you're bringing quality retail space to the Washington Street corner and new sidewalks, my favorite investment that you will be making in this area. We thank you very much for that. We're excited that this will have 21st century office space inside, but will be a really welcoming restoration and sensitive restoration to the historical aspect of this neighborhood. So thank you very much for your investment.
So projects like this don't occur without a lot of hard work, many challenges, but most of all, collaboration amongst all of the parties that are invested in not only this project, but in this community. And really on behalf of Midwood, we're thrilled to have a part in the resurgence of downtown Boston, and we hope to bring these beautiful buildings back to their natural place in the streetscape. So now we have a groundbreaking.